to another edition of the Talking About Cars podcast with me, Randy Kerdoon, along with Hot Rod Bob Beck. Over the years, we have been able to do quite a few shows, and some of them have been with car personalities that you see on TV. Some of them have been people like yourselves who have cars and car shows that we happen to be at. This time around, though, we have had a little story about TV and movie stars who have been able to talk to us about their love of cars, and even they have a car story to tell. Back around 2018, 2019, we were at the Hollywood show near the LA airport, and I had a chance to catch up with, among other people, Robert Carradine. Robert, of course, one of the famous brothers of the Carradine brothers, David Carradine from Kung Fu. Keith Carradine has been all over the place in movies and TV shows. Robert, of course, you may remember him as Louis Skolnick from the Revenge of the Nerds movies. And he, of course, was well known for that. He was also in the Lizzie McGuire series, which was on movies and TV for a while. He did so many different movies, and you know him, I'm sure, over the years. We caught up with him at the Hollywood show by the LA airport some years back, say around 2018, 2019. And we talked about it. He is a bit of a car guy, as a lot of people may or may not know. Not only is he a car guy, he happens to love the Laurel Canyon Boulevard, Mulholland Drive locations, because that's where he liked to do his stuff. Now, I'm not promoting it. We're not playing this to promote it. You don't want to do that because the gendarmes don't like it when you try and race around on certain city streets. But he had an interesting story to tell. So again, the reason we're bringing you kind of a repeat of episode 135 of the Talking About Car series is because Robert Carradine passed away recently, and at the age of 71. And he had such interesting car stories, and I'm sure that wasn't really promoted much over his movie career. And he had so much fun talking about it as well. So we thought it might be worth dusting off this interview to play for you. Also on the show is going to be the Playmate of the Year for 2013. Raquel Pomplun. She is the first Mexican-American Playmate to make it to the top as far as the yearly annual award given out by Playboy people back in the day. So we thought you may want to hear her car story as well. I don't know. Call me crazy. I think you just might want to hear it. Also, this is back in the days where before we had pictures. So this was an all audio show. So I think what we're going to do is probably throw in some pictures of them here and there. But this isn't going to be run as a video as much as it is. You got to listen to what they say, because they had some interesting stories as well. So again, before too long, let's head out to our podcast, and let's start it off with the late great Robert Carradine.
My first car was an AC Ace. It was a 1956 AC Ace, the predecessor to the 289 Cobra. In this car, somebody had taken out the AC engine and put in a 289 Ford with an automatic. So basically it was a poor man's Cobra.
That was your first car?
That was my first car.
How did you know about that car that early?
Oh, well, when I was, I think 10 years old, I had my first subscription to Road and Track.
I see.
So I was like way into cars. And there used to be these car lots on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood that had all of these old, unusual cars, and they were reasonable. I think I paid $2,000 for that AC Ace. And, I wrecked it within 6 months.
And how old were you at the time?
16.
Okay, understandable.
I had not figured out that when the car starts to drift, you give it more throttle, not less. As a racing driver, if any of you guys out there listening are racing drivers, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But, I figured that out just a little bit after I crashed it.
Mm-hmm. That's very cool. All right, so you learned that. What'd you go to from there?
My brother Keith had a 1960 Chevy Corvette, which he sold to me for $500. And he changed the 283 for a 327, and I decided it needed to be fuel injected. So I went to a swap meet and picked up a Corvette fuel injection and put it on the car.
A swap meet?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I crashed that one on Mulholland.
Now, are we talking Mulholland west of the 405 or east of the 405?
Oh, east of the 405. It's between Laurel Canyon and Coldwater Canyon.
Okay.
And if the race is really spirited, we'll go all the way to Beverly Glen.
I
but
see.
we never went from Beverly Glen to Sepulveda. Just we didn't go on that part of the track.
I see. So you were racing.
Yeah, actually, I was showing off to the guys that were waiting at the pits, which is the high point of the run that we made. And I decided, well, I'm going to really show them. And I never, ever took an inside line on a blind curve. But that night I did, and that was the night somebody was coasting down the hill with their lights off. So I made a diversionary tactic to go around the car I was about to head on with. And the 10 feet that I used to avoid the car was the 10 feet that I was off of the hill on Mulholland. But luckily I hit a telephone pole.
Of course.
And the car bounced back onto the road. So I lived to tell about it.
But the car did not. Or did
Well,
it?
actually, I sold the car, I think, for $1,000. And there is a gal in L.A. called Corvette Sonia. And I saw her about 3 or 4 months later, and she was driving my car around. And it looked perfect. So I was kind of bummed out.
I mean, I know you read the magazine, but was the family much of a car family? I mean,
Oh,
where
yeah.
else, what were your influences?
My brother Christopher, major car freak. My father, John Carradine, major car freak. He had a Duesenberg. So that was pretty cool. But Chris Carradine, who became an Imagineer for Disney, he really set the fever into me real good.
When you say you raced, you were more of a track racer as opposed to a drag racer as opposed to, or did you do all of it?
No, I did road racing. And people don't believe it, but I learned how to road race on Mulholland Drive.
I think the LAPD probably knew, but maybe not.
Well, they didn't know it was me.
Well, in this day and age of helicopters being there in 20 seconds, could you get away with that today?
Possibly. But I'm not going to find out.
Oh, you're so optimistic. I like that. Well, and again, I was talking to Brian Toshi over here, and he mentioned the fact that you used to race something that resembled old police cars or something like that. Was that correct?
It's not that I raced those, but when we were doing Revenge of the Nerds, I was on probation and had my license on probation because I'd wrecked my '69 Corvette ditching the highway patrol. And on location, they had some unmarked police cars that they used in Revenge of the Nerds. And the Teamsters let me drive one of those cars. And the way the car drove and looked and the free parking, I mean, I was just like, this is the answer for LA. Here's a car I can drive exactly how I want, free U-turns, free parking, speed unlimited most of the time, and they don't even see me. It was the perfect answer.
Nobody messed with you at all.
Nah. I mean, every now and then I would get pulled out of the car at gunpoint because I think one time I was in Hollywood and they pulled me over. They got me out of the car at gunpoint and they look at my license and they go, "Oh, Robert Carradine, you the actor?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Oh, we thought you were the Hillside Strangler. Sorry."
Wow. Okay.
Well, that was his MO.
Yeah, that's right. He did have an old police car.
He had an old police car, and he would capture young damsels and strangle them.
Ugh. Tell me a little bit about your road racing career and how much fun that was and really what races you've won. How much success did you have?
Well, I went to the Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving, which was held at Sears Point Raceway at that time, and it was taught by Bob himself. And I came out on top of my class, which I owe to Mulholland. And then my first professional road race was a Daytona 24 Hours and a Daytona Ferrari that my brother David bought. And, well, that didn't go so well. I was trying really hard to be a pro, and I was out at night practice, and I realized that I hadn't checked all the gauges so I could report to the crew what the car's doing. So I go by the pits and they wave me to come in. So I'm finishing the lap, and as I go by the pits and I go around turn 1, I'm heading for turn 2, and I check all the gauges out, having completely forgotten that turn 2 is coming at about 100 plus miles an hour. Because even though I wasn't shifting at redline, I was still shifting at 6,000. So I slid off the end of the track, and I hurt the car just enough that the crew would have had to stay up all night to fix it. They couldn't magnaflux it to see if anything was cracked. I mean, it could have been done, but it was a 3-car team, and they weren't going to sacrifice everybody's preparedness over my stupid mistake. But the next year we went, and we finished third in class and 8th overall, the only non-Porsche in the top 10 at the Daytona 24 Hours. So that was pretty cool. At the same time, the same year, 1978, I drove in the Formula Ford Championship in the Northwest called the ICSCC. I won the championship. Along the way, I won 5 races from the pole, so I was really finding my sea legs, as it were, as a racing driver. 79, nothing much happened. 1980, I went back to go-karts because I wanted to stay fresh. And around 1983, Dick Goldstrand hired me to drive his showroom stock Camaro. And I was teamed with Don Knowles and Jim Cook, and we won the 24 Hours in Nelson Ledges. So basically, my showroom stock career went from Camaros to Corvettes. We won the championship in 85, 86, 87, we were runner-up. I don't remember what happened in 88, but in 91, I started driving for Lotus. And I drove a Lotus Esprit Turbo for the factory, and that was sort of my heyday as a racing driver. In 92, I drove in GTP, which are the flat-out sports racers like they race at Le Mans. So that was sort of my dream come true. And after that, fond memories.
Yeah. What was there a reason? I mean, have you done anything lately, or do you still just get out on go-karts, or just to keep your hand in it, or?
No, I was going to race at Barber Motorsports Speedway in Alabama, but the ride that I was supposed to drive in, nobody had told that team that I was getting in the car. So when I showed up with my driver's suit and my helmet, they're like, "What?" And in hindsight, I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because, you know, I'm rusty. I haven't been on a track in a while, and if I was going to get back in a car, I'd like to have a day to get the rust out.
There seems to be a stigma in a way of a lot of actors that go out and start driving. I mean, there's a bunch of them that have tried. Some are really good. I mean, you're talking the Paul Newmans and that kind of thing. Yourself was looking pretty good. And I'm wondering, did you ever run up against we don't know exactly what kind of actor turned driver you are?
I did run up against that until they raced me. And then they begrudgingly said, "You know, he's pretty fast." And coincidentally, I drove with Paul Newman on the Daytona Ferrari team, and I also drove with him on the Lotus team. And I guess I should blow my own horn a little bit. When the Lotus team came to Sears Point, I was coming in from New York. And it was one of those nonstop flights that for some reason stopped twice. Once for a windshield, once for fuel.
Oh.
By the time I got to San Francisco, I'd already arranged to get a helicopter to Sears Point. As I'm coming in on the helicopter, I see that the last session of the day that I would get to do, had just pulled out. And I was freaking out. And sure enough, one of the Corvettes crashed on the warm-up lap, so they red flagged the session, which gave me time to get to the pits and change. They yanked Paul out of the car, stuffed me in it, and at the end of the session, I'd set the quick time for the Lotus team. And he said, "How did you do that?" I said, "I went to school here. This is my favorite track."
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I mean, I always felt that I was a race driver that acted, as opposed to these actors that think they can race. That's kind of how I thought about it.
Okay, so aside from Paul Newman, who do you think actor-wise was really good? That might surprise people.
I think Craig T. Nelson was pretty good. He was driving some very grown-up machinery. And it was basically a Can-Am car that he was driving with a lot of power.
Yeah.
And he was setting decent times.
Greg T. Nelson from Coach and along those lines. Did you ever go to a race in the Long Beach Grand Prix?
I wanted to. I was hoping that they'd put me in as a celebrity and I get to start near the front and then just leave everybody for dead, because I have all this experience in showroom stock cars.
Uh-huh. Didn't work.
I never got in that race.
No. Have you done other celebrity races before?
No.
Okay, well, that means you went after the big boys then.
Yeah, I mean, when I drove for Lotus, I was getting paid. When I drove for Chevy and the Corvettes, I was getting paid. So, by definition, it made me a pro.
Among your brothers, though, it seems everybody, all the guys seem to be really big car guys to one extent or another.
Oh, my brothers?
Yeah.
Oh, man, my brother David, when I started living with him, he had 5 cars. BMW 507, Ferrari California Spider, Maserati Oscar, SD 455 Trans Am. I'm missing one, but he had one. Oh, yeah, Lancia Aurelia.
Oh, wow. And yeah, which was his favorite?
I think the California Spider. That was a great car.
Wow. The other brothers, too, were they car people, or did they just happen to have cars?
Well, no, my brother Chris is, like I said, the real car nut that set the hook real deep into me.
What about Keith?
Yeah, Keith is very savvy about cars. He still has his original 74 Land Cruiser. He still got his 78 BMW R100S that he bought new, and they both look great.
Car that you have had in the past, you no longer have, that you would like to get back?
Boy, it's a toss-up between the Ferrari Lusso and a 63 fuel-injected Roadster. And the fuel-injected Roadster was an NCRS certified car. It was perfect.
What kind of daily driver would you like to get back? I can't imagine you driving those cars on the street.
I drove the 63 Vet a lot. The Lusso, that was a little nerve-wracking to drive in LA, so I didn't drive that a lot. But really before I got into the cop cars, my daily driver was a 69 Vet with a Doug Nash 5-speed and a built 383.
You talked about you picked up that one squad car when you were doing Revenge of the Nerds. So you kept getting those kind of cars? You like those old Ford Galaxies, Chevy Impala, or Chevy Caprices, that kind of thing?
Yeah, the car that I actually got was the 78 Dodge Monaco with a 440.
Yeah.
Which is a great car. I remember once we were on our way to Willow Springs to test the showroom stock Corvettes, and one of the cars was on the road to break in the rear axle. And he's following me, and I'm in the cop car in the Dodge, and there's that stretch between Palmdale and Lancaster where there's nothing. 10 miles, wide open. He said I was pulling him at 140. I mean, the speedo on the Dodge was buried, and I mean, the car ran good.
Are you a Chevy guy, a Ford guy, or a Mopar guy? Or none of the above?
No, I mean, I've had them all. At the moment, I'm a Dodge guy because I have a brand new, believe it or not, a brand new 2014 Charger Police Pursuit.
2014?
Yeah, 4 years old, brand new.
Wow.
With a warranty.
Now that was the one before they went to the 8-speed transmission and all that?
Yes.
And the new redesign and all that?
Yes. It handles great, and it's the last year of the good front end, because once they went to the new front end design, I just find that very generic. You know, it could be a VW, it could be a Honda, it could be anything.
Everybody has a list. Top 3 to 5 to 10 to 20 cars on your list that you want someday. What's the top 3 on your list, on Robert Carradine's list?
550 Ferrari Maranello, F40 Ferrari, F1 McLaren.
Very impressive list.
You remember that car?
Oh, yeah.
The 3-seater?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be cool.
That would be kind of cool. That would be very cool.
But the 550 Maranello, that'd be my daily driver. I compare it to a Daytona, a modern Daytona. It's a front engine V12, 6-speed tranny. It's like a modern Daytona.
You miss all that racing?
I do. But I had a couple of good wrecks along the way. And as a result, it took some of the fun out of it because I'd never been hurt before. And once you get hurt, that you kind of remember that as soon as you start going fast.
When did you get hurt?
In 2001. I was testing at Willow Springs, and I went off the outside of turn 9, and I got the car straightened out, and I was heading head on for the end of the pit wall, and at the last possible moment, the car slightly turned to the left, so it hit on the passenger side. Otherwise, it's entirely possible we would not be having this conversation. I was doing 120 for sure.
Any idea how many accidents you've had since you started driving?
I mean, just first blush, it had to be 10 by now.
Well, I'm glad you were here so we could have this conversation. Robert?
Yeah, me too. My last race was the 24 Hours of Nürburgring in 2003. And I was doing the show, Lizzie McGuire. And because of the shooting schedule, by the time I got to Germany, the race was about to start. I was going to drive a car I'd never sat in or seen before in the race. And that was my last race. And I drove one stint, about an hour and 15 minutes. And the guy who took over for me was the owner, and he crashed the car, and I was thrilled because I never had to get in another race car.
So at the end, you really weren't sure you wanted to do this?
No.
You did it because you were committed to do it?
No, I did it because I was into the get back on the horse syndrome, but also I wanted to be able to experience the Nürburgring.
Was this the first race since the accident?
Yes.
Ah, okay, I get it. Yeah, that'd unnerve a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, when I went over there before the race, maybe a month before, to kind of learn the track, because I've been learning the track on a computer game, it doesn't handle the elevation change very well. The guy's taking me around the track, and he's driving with one hand and looking at me while he's talking to me, and he's hauling ass. And I'm like, man, get your hands on the wheel. I mean, I was not digging it. Let's put it that way.
Yikes.
And this guy was Mr. Nürburgring. He literally could drive it in his sleep.
Actor Robert Carradine. Moving on, Raquel Pomplun. She was born in San Diego and in 2013 was named Playboy's Playmate of the Year. Now remember, the Playmates of the Year would always get a car, and it was always given to them when they made the announcement ceremony. Her car story, well, let's say it starts off a little more domestic than Robert's did.
My very first car was it was a Chrysler.
What year was it?
2006 or 5. You know what? I'm not even going to say that's my first car because I don't. The reason why I don't remember.
Want to start over?
No.
Oh, okay.
I want you to know this story.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
The reason why I don't know what my first car is because my first car, it was my brother's first car that I had to share with. Like I got to drive my brother's car for like Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. And then eventually I got my first car. That's my first car. And it was a Ford Focus 2006 Ford Focus.
So you had to share the alleged Sebring with your brother. Is that
Yes,
what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, and it was a convertible?
No, it was just like a regular sedan. Like it was
Four-door.
Yeah, 4-door. I remember it was red.
Oh, well, that changes everything.
Everything.
Okay. All right, well, as long as you got that straight. So where did he get that car from? Was it a hand-me-down?
It was actually my parents bought it. It was a used car that my parents bought for him to like destroy as his first car. And then they said, "Well, you drive it too, Raquel, while you get experience." And then eventually they're like, "Okay, we can tell you're a good driver. We'll get you a brand new, like, from the dealership, Ford Focus hatchback."
So what you're saying, you're outing your brother, who apparently is a horrible driver. Is that what you're saying?
I think it wasn't about how he drove, it's how he took care of his cars. He was bad.
Really?
They were always dirty.
Give me a definition. Did he do Starsky and Hutch moves in the middle of the street or something like that?
Probably.
Spin his tires, shred them, and that kind of thing?
You know, I learned to drive in Mexico and Tijuana, Baja California. So it was a very thorough country driving. So you had to speed to survive. So I think, and then there was a lot of potholes everywhere. So it was a little bit of that. I think it was just like if anything happens to the car, like we're okay because it's a used car. It was more like that.
So what kind of car was that you got to learn on?
But I don't remember which car it is.
Okay. So that was in Mexico. So really, you didn't drive on streets then, right? Is that what you're saying? You drove on dirt roads or something, or?
I wish. No,
Oh.
It was streets. It was
Oh, I
streets,
see.
but everybody just. It's a different kind of driving over there.
Who taught you?
It's a very interesting question because
A relative?
my very first boyfriend taught me, but I think my dad refined it. See, my dad didn't have time. My boyfriend started teaching me, and then my dad's like, okay, now I have time. My dad's a very busy man. Don't get me wrong. He loves me. I love him. But he was a very busy man, and I understood, and I was very impatient. Eventually, I think it was my dad who finished teaching me correctly.
Okay, so one of the things he taught you correctly that maybe the boyfriend didn't teach you correctly.
Parallel parking and just getting out of anything in reverse. Let's say you're stuck between two cars and the only way you can get out is in reverse.
Okay.
Like I wasn't confident about that, and my dad made me confident about that.
Oh, good. So the boyfriend didn't help your confidence.
No,
is what
he
you're
kept
saying.
yelling at me. And actually, when I learned, that's why he's an ex-boyfriend, guys. When I learned to drive, the car I learned to drive in was a van.
So the Chrysler is now a van.
That's, I'm just remembering all this.
That's okay. I'm just trying to keep track. Go ahead.
I think the reason why I get all confused is because I learned how to drive in a van, but my experience built up was in that other car. So I always like to say that it was the other car that taught me how to...
Parallel parking in a van.
It was in the other car. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I learned how to drive straight, stay in my lane, brake, accelerate.
Brake's good, yeah.
In a van.
Okay.
And
was
then,
it like one of those vans that had windows, or was it a van that was kind of like
it
a
had
business
windows.
van?
It was like a traveling van.
Oh, okay.
Like a family van.
Okay.
Yeah, the big ones, square ones. It was a little bit traumatic. And then I stopped, and then I finished learning in that car. I think it was like 2 afternoons in the van, and then I stopped. I was like, it's too much. I can't. That's
Okay.
how it started.
I like that. Okay, very good. So you learned how to drive that way, and your first car was that Ford.
A
correct?
Ford, yes.
Yes. What was the first car you bought?
That I bought was a Hyundai Accent, because that's all I could afford. Back in the day.
Back in the day. You're not
Yes.
driving that now.
No, I'm driving. Actually, I don't have a car right now, guys, because my lease ended. I had a Mini Cooper. And I love my Mini. But it was a lease, so it ended, and I was like, oh, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? And in between and that, I haven't really gone to get a car. I can't make up my mind.
How are you getting to and
so
fro?
I'm driving my husband's Silverado. It's more safe anyway, so
Okay.
whatever.
Okay, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Hey, husband. So,
Husband is not here. Husband went away.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
Somewhere.
Sorry. She looked at you. I kind of went, oh, okay. Did they tell you in advance about the Playmate of the Year car? How did that come about?
No. And it was a bit of a surprise because I got to go to the viewing party for the F-Type because it came out again that year after, 20-something years or something like that. And I remember I was with the COO, I think, that I went with the party of Playboy. And I told him, there's no way in my entire life I will ever drive this car. Well, girl, you drove that car.
Wow, so that was the car?
I think that was exactly the same car. Not the same car, but it was an F-Type. The one that we saw on the party, it was a blue, like light blue. The one I had was a white one.
What was the red one at the ceremony?
There was actually 3 cars at the ceremony. There was a red one, a gray, like a dark gray one, and a white one. That was just like a showing. I didn't get my car until maybe 4 months later.
Oh, really?
Paperwork, guys, paperwork. But I kept it 4 months later, so it's okay.
Okay, well, at least you got it. That's the
Yeah.
important thing. All right, so any adventures in that car?
Oh my God, so many. First of all, I love speed, and not the drug. I only speed in the car.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that. And Playboy thanks you for clarifying
Yes.
that. Yeah, go ahead. And Jaguar does too, now
And
that I
Jaguar
think about
too.
it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay.
But I took it to the what is it? Hoover Dam? Is it Hoover Dam, the one in Las Vegas?
Yeah,
Hoover Dam.
give or take a little.
That
area.
was my dream. I took it to the Hoover Dam. I took it to Vegas. It was a nice show off in the Strip. Oh my God, it's just speeding in it. Those are the great stories.
Speeding in it?
In it, yes.
Did you ever get
Never
caught?
got a ticket.
Really?
Never got a ticket. And most of the time I would drive it at 90 when I would go up. But I think the highest I went up was like 105 because I'm a scary cat. There's no way I could go higher than 105. 105 was the number in my head that was like, it's safe.
Okay.
You know, some people go to 120, and it's like, I can't.
No, it's probably not a good idea.
No.
No.
And 105 gave me so much adrenaline that I was like, okay, I got it. I felt it. I'm gone. But most of the time I was driving it at 90 because you couldn't feel the 90. You couldn't feel it.
How many people did you have in it with you at the time?
Well, I had my best friend. Well, when I was driving at 90? No, when I was always by myself.
No, I was talking about
who got to drive it with me?
Yeah. Well, no. Who? You said you did what? 105.
105, yeah.
Who was in it when you did 105?
I was by myself.
Really?
Yeah.
So you got the car, and that's one of the more interesting adventures. Did any of the girls beforehand, like I assume you knew the Playmate of the Year beforehand and all that, did they tell you anything about the cars beforehand? Did they warn you? Did they say anything about it?
No. I don't think the car is a I don't think the car is a point of conversation between the Playmates because we never know what we're going to get. So it's more like a surprise. And honestly, like, we're getting a car. Who cares? You know? You're giving me a car. In my case, it was a 1-year lease, but I was the first one to be a 1-year lease. Before me, they were getting the car.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care what car you're giving me.
Okay, that's good. But they only gave it to you for 1 year.
Starting from me and going on for the Playmates.
You were the first of the 1-year leases?
Yeah, and then it kept
What
going.
happened to the gal before you? She got to keep her car?
The gal before me didn't even get a car. Yes. I think she got a motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
And then the ones before us, they got to keep the car.
Did you ever consider getting something else besides a car?
No. I do have my M1. I drive a motorcycle. I can drive a motorcycle, but it's LA. You want to be in a car, to be honest. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I
like
wouldn't
that.
drive my motorcycle in LA.
Yeah, it's not good. I did.
No.
I drove a motorcycle for a while in LA.
Yeah.
Anytime.
My husband still does, and he's like, ugh. But I'm like, but then he's like, but I beat traffic, and I'm like, yeah.
Then we caught up with Raquel's husband, and I asked him for the truth. So how does she drive?
Oh my God. Well, even though she drives fast, she's a safe driver.
Choose your words carefully.
She's a safe driver.
No, you don't have to fake it. Tell the truth.
Okay, she's crazy then. Yeah, I got it.